On this Saturday, this one starting with LuKa Doncic.
It's a bad man right there.
Dallas Mavericks. Okay, taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. You, though, were ready to name him a superstar, Coach.
Well, look, I mean, he should be in the MVP thinking. He's must-see basketball right now. You know, there are people out there, you know, certainly will turn on the stars, LeBron James, Steph Curry when he was healthy. You got to turn on LuKa Doncic if you want to watch great players. There's nothing this guy doesn't do on the offensive end of the floor.
Later in the third quarter, Jay Crowder to Jaren Jackson Jr. inside. And you throw it down.
Yes, it was good to see him get going a little bit. They, you know, have been playing faster and have run right past him, I think, a lot. He hasn't been as involved offensively. Tonight, without Ja Morant, it gave Jaren Jackson Jr. a chance to be more involved.
Jalen Brunson here to Tim Hardaway Jr. for three.
He also had a great night also, and when he's making shots, that gives them another offensive weapon on the offensive side of things along with Porzingis.
138 to 122, your final score as Dallas beats Memphis and improves to 6-3 overall. After the break, the high against his former Knicks team, Kristaps Porzingis dropped 28 points. LuKa Doncic added 38. Kristaps also had 9 rebounds, while LuKa rounded out another triple-double, 14 rebounds and 10 assists. So let's hear from Coach Carlisle earlier tonight about both Kristaps and LuKa.
They're doing great. They're doing great. See progress every game in terms of their chemistry together. And, you know, chemistry with the group. Last night was, you know, I thought from a balance standpoint, KP's best game just in terms of going with the flow with his teammates. And so that was great to see. And, you know, we just keep working on it every day.
No KP tonight, Rick. How do you make up that 20 points and 8 rebounds he was giving you a night?
Well, it's the next man up. You know, we're going to have somebody step forward. You know, with their size, you know, Boban certainly comes into the equation. And we're just going to have to pick it up collectively as a group. You know, you lose a guy like that has that kind of impact and, you know, can get those kinds of clean looks anywhere on the floor. You know, it's a loss. So, you know, we'll have to have other guys step up.
They're leading the league in points in the paint. How do you keep them out of the paint tonight?
Well, we got to do a good job with our offense and our execution. The better shots we can get, the better position we'll be to get back and protect the paint. You know, and the other thing that they do real well is convert live ball turnovers into paint points right away. They also play, I believe, the fastest pace in the league. They get the ball over half court quicker than anybody, and so it's going to be a real challenge, you know, in terms of transition as well.
Rick, Ja's not playing tonight, but from what you've seen from him from afar, what's your impressions?
You know, he's an amazing young player. The speed, explosiveness, the skill. He's got a great motor. He's exciting, fun to watch. I mean, they got a guy that they can really build around for a long time here.
With him being out, do you anticipate that affects their pace, or do you just have to play like they're always the way they always play?
You know, I feel like they're going to be a system team and play their system. You know, with his lightning speed out of the lineup, it'll change it slightly, but Jones gets it up and down, Melton can get it up and down, their wings run, you know, their big guys rebound, and so, you know, there's absolutely no reason to exhale for any reason, you know, preparing for these guys.
Is it strange after all these years to talk about Memphis having the highest pace in the league?
It's just the way the game is evolving. You know, they've done a rebuild on this team pretty quickly and very effectively. I mean, they've got players that fit the system. You know, they have a real identity, and so it's a credit to what Taylor's doing with them. And they're hard to play. I mean, you know, Even they've had a couple of losses with some margins, but they're a persistent team that keeps coming at you, and that's a fun group to build with.
As you indicated last night, the first quarter was problematic. When you went back and looked at that, did anything jump out to you as concerning?
A lot of things. I mean, we didn't have the rebounding was an issue all night, and so we talked about that. Watched a few things this morning on it, and we're just going to have to do better. I mean, checking out and going after the ball. The big physical teams, present a different kind of challenge for us, and so we're just going to have to rise up and do better with it. These guys are another top rebounding team, and they get a lot of offensive boards too. So, we've got our hands full for a third night in a row.
A guy you're very familiar with.
Karan, I'm going to ask you the same thing that he was just asked. We're not going to see Ja Morant in this one, but what stands out to you about what he's done thus far this season?
Pretty much everything. When you talk about his explosiveness and the pace of the game and what he brings to that ball club, it's just been, special to watch. He's so crafty, and he lives in the paint, and he pushes that pace, and that's something that you're not accustomed to seeing from the grit and grind area. They used to coming down in the half court and just trying to just pound it inside, but now you're talking about the tempo of the game finally changing, and he's been the spearhead of that.
Right, as we're listening to Coach Carlisle, Coach Van Gundy's over there laughing. Well, yeah, it had to change. You couldn't have made the grit and grind guys get up there and set the pace, right?
No, absolutely. They went out and got Taylor Jenkins to coach, coming from a system where they wanted to run the ball, and they're building a system around their best player. Ja Morant's going to be the face of their franchise. You don't want to play in the half court with a guy like that. And what we'll see as they continue to add pieces to that team, we'll see more and more of his great court vision. Right now, he doesn't have a lot of guys, a lot of other scorers to get the ball to, but that's probably the best part of his game.
Do you consider this then a must-win for Dallas with Ja on the sidelines?
I consider that yesterday night a must-win for them. So they definitely have to win this game, and I think it's going to lay in the hands of, LuKa, that guy right there. He's going to have to be special, which he has been all season, and he's on that short list of guys. Talk about triple-doubles under the age of 21, just surpassed, I think, LeBron James. So he has to continue to trend in that direction, and I think that some of the things that you always see with him is that two-man game, and he puts the teams in a bad situation on the defensive end of the floor. So without Porzingis out there, how do they manufacture that type of action?
How do you guys feel about resting Kristaps? Because he is continuing to manage an injury. We haven't seen much from him after sitting out the entirety of a season, but we saw a huge performance from him less than 24 hours ago.
Yeah, look, I've been one of the biggest opponents of the whole load management thing, but I think this is different. When we were talking off camera, Karan brought it up to me, and he's absolutely right. There's load management, which is rest. I'm against that. Like, if it's time to play, we play. But there's injury management, even for guys who are somewhat healthy but coming back. That's where Kristaps Porzingis is. That's where Ja Morant is, coming off-season surgery. I think that's a different situation, and we have to look at it differently.
Totally. That's part of his rehab progress. So I think that, at some point, you look at some of the dates on the calendar, and it's like, look, you're not playing in some of these back-to-backs and things like that. So he'll be fine going forward.
The Mavericks are 3-0 on the road, and that game's coming up on NBA League Pass at 8 Eastern as Game Time, presented by State Farm, continues after this.